We are talking about British monarchy, and in British monarchy we are talking about Saxon king, and I have uploaded first part, and if you haven't seen or watched it till, you can watch it going to the playlist of old English literature. And in this series the next king is Edward the Elder, and his time period is 899 to 924. Succeeded his father Alfred the Great, and he was the son of Alfred the Great. Edward retook southeast England and the Midlands from the Danes, and this was the ruler who retook southeast England and the Midlands from the Danes. And earlier, this region was lost and occupied by the Danes. Following the death of his sister Aethelflaed of Mercia, Edward unites the kingdom of Wessex and Mercia. And when his sister dies, he unites the kingdom of Wessex and Mercia. The next monarch is Athelstan. His time period of ruling is 924 to 939. Son of Edward the Elder, Athelstan extended the boundary of his kingdom at the Battle of Brunanburh in 1937, and the Battle of in his reign the Battle of Brunanburh was fought, and taking the benefit of this battle, this man extended the boundaries of his kingdom in what is said to be one of the bloodiest battle ever fought on British soil, and this was the bloodiest battle. Huge bloodshed had happened in this battle. Athelstan defeated a combined army of Scots, and this man won the battle and defeated the united armies of Scots, Celts, Danes, and Vikings, claiming the title of King of all Britain. The next ruler is Edmund. His time period of ruling is 939 to 946. Succeeded his half-brother Athelstan, and he became the ruler after succeeding his half-brother Athelstan at the very tender age of 18, having already fought alongside him at the Battle of Brunanburh. And he also fought with his half-brother at the Battle of Brunanburh 2 years earlier. He re-established Anglo-Saxon control over northern England, and he was the ruler who re-established Anglo-Saxon control over northern England, which had fallen back under Scandinavian rule following the death of Athelstan. What is half-brother? Half-brother is not your real brother. He is your uncle's son. That's why he is called half-brother. The next ruler is Eadred. His time period of reigning is 946 to 955. The son of Edward the Elder, and he was the son of Edward the Elder by his third marriage to Eadgifu. And this man, Edward the Elder, married third time, and from that marriage, this son became the ruler. Eadred succeeded his brother Edmund, and this man succeeded his brother Edmund following his premature death due to his death in a very tender age. The next ruler is Eadwig. His time period of ruling is 955 to 959. The eldest son of Edmund I, and he was the elder son of Edmund I. Eadwig was about 16 when he was crowned king at Kingston upon Thames in southeast London, and at the very tender age of 16 he was crowned as a king. Next ruler is Edgar. His time period is 959 to 975 while he was ruling. The youngest son of Edmund I, and he was the younger son of Edmund I. Edgar had been in dispute with his brother concerning succession to the throne for some years, and he was the man, he was the person who had a dispute concerning succession to the throne, and he wants himself to establish as a king. We have talked about rulers who were lesser known or who were not so much famous in their lifetime as a ruler. We have talked about them in a very little, giving very little details, and now we will talk about the kings or ruler who got famous in their lifetime as a ruler, and they have some achievement as we have talked about Alfred the Great in detail by giving minute details, and like him we will talk about Edward the Martyr and all the kings who are quite famous, who were quite famous in their lifetime in giving minute details. Like Edward the Martyr, his time period is 975 to 978 while he was ruling, and he was the eldest son of Eadred. Edward was crowned king when aged just 12, and this was his achievement. Just at the very tender age of 12, he became the king. Although supported by Archbishop Dunstan, his claim to the throne was contested by supporter of his much younger half-brother Aethelred, and this Archbishop Dunstan who supported his half-brother Aethelred, and that's why he has to contest with his half-brother for the reign of this region and this country. The resulting dispute between rivals factions within the church and nobility almost led to the civil war in England, and there had taken place a dispute, you can say a rival, between two rival factions, between two groups within the church and nobility. On the one side there was church who was supporting his half brother Aethelred, and on the other side the nobility was thinking that Edward the Martyr is the great ruler, can be a great ruler, and this led to a civil war in England. And Edward's short reign ended when he was murdered at Corfe Castle by followers of Aethelred. And this man, I got mercy on this man because he got murdered at Corfe Castle by the followers of Aethelred after just 2.5 years as a king, and he ruled after just 2.5 years. The title Martyr was a consequence of him being seen as a victim, and he was emerged as a victim of his stepmother's ambition, because his stepmother wanted Aethelred as a king. That's why he was murdered. The next ruler is Aethelred II the Unready, 978 to 1016. And this was the ruling period of this man. Aethelred was unable to organize resistance against the Danes, and this man was unable to organize or resist Danes' invasion, earning him the nickname Unready, and that's why he was designated with the title Unready or Warily Advised, because always he had shown himself as unready, unprepared, while someone attacked the country of this man. He became king aged about 10, and this man was quite, you can say, fortunate, and that's why he became king at the very early age of 10 years. But fled to Normandy, and it is quite comical or humorous, you can say, and this man ran away to Normandy in 1013 when Sweyn Forkbeard, king of Danes, invaded England. When this ruler, Sweyn Forkbeard, king of Danes invaded, this man fled away to Normandy, and I feel pity on this man because of his such a attitude and such a fleeing nature, escaping nature from facing troubles. Talking about this man, Edmund II Ironside, his ruling period is 1016 to 1016. How it is possible? The son of Aethelred II, Edmund had led to resistance to the CNUT's invasion of England since 10,015. And this man was quite, you can say, a warrior type man, and he resisted CNUT's invasion of England since 1015. Following the death of his father, he was chosen king, and he was selected as a king by the good folk of London, by the sympathetic people of London. Next ruler is Canute, or known as Nut. I don't think that I am pronouncing it rightly. It can be Canut or it can be Nut the Great. What about the spelling and pronunciation? Don't matter. The Dane, and his time period of rule is 1016 to 1035. Canute became king of all England following the death of Edmund II, and this became the king of whole England when the Edmund II died. The son of Sweyn Forkbeard, and this man was the son of Sweyn Forkbeard. He ruled well and gained favor with his English subject, and in his time there prevailed peace, discipline, order, and a system of justice, and that's why he ruled well and earned the title of the Great by sending most of his army back to Denmark. And he earned the favor of subject of Britain by sending army back to Denmark because he was a Danish ruler. I think that I have to increase pace because monarchs are great in number, and in this series, the next ruler is Harold I, 1035 to 1040, and he ruled 5 years. Also known as Harold Harefoot, by the name Harold Harefoot, in recognition of his speed and skill as a hunter, and he is recognized for his speed and skill as a hunter. Harold was the illegitimate son of Canute, and he was the legitimate son of Canute. Edward the Confessor, and some great rulers are mine favorite, like Edward the Confessor, Alfred the Great. What can I do? Also the others. And his time period of rule is 1042 to 1066. Following the death of Canute, Edward restored the rule of the House of Wessex to the English throne. And after the death of Canute, Edward restored the rule of the House of Wessex, becoming to English throne. A deeply pious and religious man, and he was full of religious attitude, and he was quite full of sanctity, you can say, piousness. He presided over the rebuilding of Westminster Abbey, and he was the president when the Westminster Abbey was rebuilding and rebuilt, leaving much of the running of the country to Earl Godwin and his son Harold. And and lots of he left to rule for Earl Godwin and his son Harold. Edward died childless 8 days after the building work on Westminster Abbey had finished, and Edward died without, you can say, without issue, without child. After 8 days, when the work of rebuilding of Westminster Abbey had finished, with no natural successor, England was faced with a power struggle for control of the throne, and from here the power struggle starts, because he hadn't any natural successor or righteous king of England, and that's why England faced with the power struggle for control of the throne. Come to the next point. Harold II, 1066. Despite having no royal bloodline, because there was no any natural or righteous bloodline to rule, Harold Godwin was elected king by the Vitan, and this man was elected with agreement as the king by the Vitan. Who is Vitan? A council of high-ranking nobles and religious leaders who elected Harold Godwin as a king following the death of Edward the Confessor. The election result failed to meet with approval of one William, and what all were on agreement that Harold is the righteous ruler to rule on Britain. What this Duke of Normandy, William, who claimed that his relative Edward the Confessor, had promised the throne to him several years earlier, and this man said that Edward the Confessor had promised him to rule on Britain several years ago. He had promised to me, and that's why I want to rule on Britain, not Harold will become the ruler. Harold defeated an invading Norwegian army at the Battle of Stamford Bridge in Yorkshire. First of all, Harold won the battle on invading Norwegian army at the Battle of Stamford Bridge, which was fought in Yorkshire. Then marched south to confront William of Normandy, and then he marched to south to confront with the William of Normandy, to fight with this man who had landed his forces in Sussex, who landed his forces in Sussex. The death of Harold at the Battle of Hastings, and ultimately this man died at the Battle of Hastings, and this mean that the end of English Anglo-Saxon kings and the beginning of the Normans. From here the beginning of the Normans starts, and from here in next part we will talk about Norman hierarchy of ruler or kings, and for today this is sufficient, I think. And to encourage me, please press the bell icon so that I can get encouragement and give your valuable feedback. Thank you. Thanks a lot.